Alright, on the creek again. You gotta love it. You wouldn't be anywhere else, would you? You had the choice. You know, running water, just peaceful sounds. Life's good. Be even better if we find some gold. Let's have a crack. Alright, so just found this little spot in here. So it's a bit of a deep hole. Go straight back down through there and back into the creek. So when the water's rushing through here, I've got a big drop, big hole right in here. So we'll have a little dig and see what's in here, see what it looks like. Beautiful. Okay, so I dug a test pan out of that little hole over in there. We'll pan him up and see if there's anything in it. Hey, fingers crossed. Okay, so that's our test pan. Not really easy to see. We'll try and get him in the shade there. Bloody water. Anyway, a few little specks in the test pan, might be worth having a bit more of a look. Well, there you go. There's not one nano in that pan, rather than that good size, real good size speck. That's the biggest speck I've ever found out here. But not a thing. Just that one big speck. Gotta love that. That's enough to make me set the sluice up over in that hole. I'll dig a few buckets out of that hole and set the sluice up and run them. But yeah, that one big speck and nothing else. Not one nano, nothing. Beautiful. Okay, so dug a few buckets. Set the little sluice up. We'll give him a run, see what we can find in there. Alright, one bucket in. No good indicators on the mat thus far, so nothing too exciting. There's a couple of little tiny specks in there, but that's about it. So we'll keep going and see what we come up with. Alright, down to the last bucket. Nothing exciting has come across the mat yet, so we'll just see how we go. It'll be interesting to see what the cleanup looks like. There was a few good specks come out of it with the test pans. So we'll just see how we go. Keep feeding this loose and fingers crossed. Keep him running. You'll notice I'm getting a bit of a build up at the bottom there. I've tried to lift that bottom up to slow it down a little bit down there because the gold here is super fine. So anything heavy should stay in here. All the lighter stuff, hopefully I'm getting trapped in the bottom where it's up a little bit. It just hasn't got such a great fall on it, slows the water down a bit. It's only an experiment, we'll see how we go. Okay, that's our 4 little buckets run. Again, nothing too exciting in the map. There's a couple of little specks there as you can spot them. Nothing too exciting. So we'll have a bit of a clean up and see what's in him. There's a ton of black sand, so hopefully there's a few specks of gold in amongst it as well. A day on the creek with no gold is better than a day at home, I'm telling you. And 10 times better than a day at work. Let's hope there's gold in it. We'll pull him apart and can't see any sticking out at me, but you never know. You just never know. Never know until you give it a go. Like I said, I can't see any sticking out there in plain sight. But then again, I'm as blind as a bat too. Maybe we'll have me specs on, might help. What have we got down in there, anything? Can't see anything obvious in there. Anyway, we'll pull him apart for cleanup, have a look. Alright, about 3 specks out of those 4 buckets. Wasn't real impressive at all, but anyway, that's the way it goes. We'll go and have a bit more of a play and see what else we can find, I reckon. Because, yeah, that didn't do us much good. Go and keep digging. Back at it again. We're upstream a little bit today. And you see, not a bad spot. There is a little bit of gold here. I've just done a couple of test pans and found 2 or 3 specks, so. Alright, so I've got a bucket and just one little 10-litre bucket. Look at the amount of black sand in themselves. They're full nearly to the bottom. So I might, I think you can actually see a little bit of gold in that one there. Yeah, there is a little piece there. Yeah, so I might just rinse them out into a bucket. There's a few pieces on the indicator mat. A few little bits there. So we'll, I might just rinse this out into a bucket because of all that black sand in them top cells, and then I'll run another bucket, maybe do the same thing again. Because yeah, like I said, look at that black sand in there. That's absolutely chockers. So we might give him a rinse and run another bucket. All right, so that's our second bucket down, and again you can see them cells. Chock a block full of black sand. So we might yeah, clean out again. There's a couple of little specks in there once again. But we'll just give him a quick rinse and then go again before the next bucket, because as you can see, like I said, they're just chock a block full. So we'll rinse him and repeat. Okay, because where we are, exactly the same deal. And the black sand in themselves. All the way down. So we'll give him a rinse and do our last bucket. May even be a couple of little specks sitting around in there. A couple of little bits on the mat. Lovely. Rinse and repeat. Okay, we've got our 4 buckets, and that's what we're left with. I'll pan him down and have a little look, see if we've done any good. Just as the weather's rolling in a bit average too, so good timing. Doesn't make for the easiest washback when you got that much black sand per pan. Like, just crazy. But that is the Araluen Valley. All right. And that's what it cleaned up to. I've still got a bucket of black sands that I've got to clean up. I'll run them over the little clean-up table. We'll have a look at that later on. But that's not too bad for a couple of hours in the creek at Araluen. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, like, subscribe, share it around, and have a good one. Cheers.